Heaven help me. Of course, George Michael and Don Estes. This is Eyes Open with me right here on your premier morning news magazine, the station FM 107.5 The Vibe, 1110 AM KTTP. We're streaming live as always on Tony Brown Roman number 2 Facebook, as well as the FM 107.5 The Vibe Facebook page and the 1110 AM KTTP page. You can also catch us on Twitter at Eyes Open T Brown, as well as Periscope at the same moniker, Eyes Open T Brown, and of course our YouTube channel, immediately getting off the air on our YouTube channel at Eyes Open with Tony Brown. Please go to our YouTube channel and subscribe to our channel. We've been telling you now for about a month now about Ward Holdings International and its premier product that's expected to hit the market real soon, hopefully sometime during the holiday season, TanzaNutz. This morning, we are talking to Geri Tigner, Geraldine Geri, as we affectionately call her, Tigner. She is a partner and global chief of staff with Ward Holdings International, LLC. Geri brings more than 30 years of experience in executive senior business management in the areas of human resources, communications, contract negotiations, and organizational effectiveness as vice president of human resources at 2 corporations, as well as branding and market analysis for large to small businesses. As an executive and life coach, she employs unique skills and insights to empower people to be their best individually and with others. Geri holds a BA in Business Administration from Wayne State University. She loves being engaged in life, starting with the belief that everything is possible, learning, helping others realize their potential to excel by viewing what may appear as adverse situations as the opportunity for growth and development. She resides in Detroit, the metropolitan area, where she enjoys being with family, traveling the world, playing golf, dancing, decorating, crafts, cooking, landscape, gardening, and opportunities to learn something new. And of course, her daily mantra is stay present, be patient, and be grateful. She joins us now all the way on the other side of the planet. We're talking to her live this morning from Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, over in Africa, where she is part of the executive team that has been on the ground for more than a year now, back and forth to the States, taking care of business and trying to help empower Africa and, of course, the people who work in those countries. Geri, welcome to Eyes Open. Always a pleasure. How you doing, big sis?
Hey, I'm doing absolutely wonderfully well. Thank you for having me.
I know we have a big time differential between it's here in the morning and there it's what, it's about 8 hours, the 9 hours difference. What time is it over there where you are right now?
Yeah, it's an 8-hour difference. 8-hour difference between you and me. So it's 3:19 p.m.
Okay, all right. Fantastic, perfect timing. Let me ask you this: how did you get involved with WHI, and how did you get involved first of all with WHI, and tell me really your involvement with the company?
Okay, well, my involvement started in 2019, January leading into February 2019, where I worked with WHI as a consultant and assisting them in pulling together their visit to China, Beijing, China, and ended up going on the trip with them. And from that point on, I became keenly interested in what was going on with WHI, became an investor like you, and then I was asked later in 2019 to come on to work as the global chief of staff for them and assisting with all the various projects that were underway at the time. And then it was in 2020, January of 2020, that Martin Johnson, whom you know, with whom you're a partner, as well as Lloyd Ward, the CEO of WHI, they came to Tanzania.
Well, fantastic.
And happenstance was they got involved in the cashew nut subsector. And the rest is history in terms of, what I'm doing. I've done a lot of research, provided a lot of support to Zaki Sembe, who is the WHP president, on the ground in the USA. We were actually scheduled to travel here, Martin, Lloyd, and I, in March. And then it occurred that COVID was rampant in the U.S., And thank goodness the Tanzanian government made a decision to close their borders to those countries experiencing high outbreaks of COVID. And they did not reopen their borders until September of 2020. And that's when Roy, Scott, and Martin came back. So this is my second trip. I came over for my first trip in February, and I was here for 6 weeks. And so far, today I've been here 5 weeks. I'm here for an additional 2 weeks, so I'll be going home, getting back home on the 15th of June.
Okay, well, you told me this is your second trip to Africa, and I know you're going to be having many more trips as I plan doing the same. What was your
this is my second trip to Tanzania. I have visited other countries in Africa previously.
That's what I want to ask you about. So the impression that we have of Africa in the States, you know, what we see, Save the Children, UNICEF, American Red Cross, almost like propaganda, preventing many of us of coming back to the motherland. What was the first country you visited, and what can you tell us about Africa, the Africa we really don't know?
Okay, well, the first country I visited was the Ivory Coast, which is on the west side of Africa, along the coast of the Atlantic. And it was a moving experience for me. That's one of the areas where the slave ships were stationed and boarded our people, enslaved our people against their will, and brought them to the U.S. of A. And we know all about the history of what ensued thereafter. So that was a really moving experience for me to be there and to see all that I saw, the historical surroundings of what did take place centuries ago. And the people were wonderful. Ivory Coast is a beautiful place, as I said, along the Atlantic Ocean. I really enjoyed that trip. But, you know, I'm a student of history and an avid reader, so I have always worked to self-educate and to learn more about the continent of Africa. And I say the continent because, as you know, so many people believe that Africa is a country. No,
it's a continent. That's right.
And there's like 54 countries here on the continent. So, you know, I was informed upon coming here that it was just for the first time, but it was just a wonderful experience to actually be here because, I'm not kidding, I just felt at my core being that I was home. And so thereafter, you know, I visited some other places. I've been to South Africa, Cape Town twice, Johannesburg once. I love to play golf, so wherever I go around the world, I play golf. It's got some beautiful golf course.
Nice.
In South Africa, where I played. Since I've been here, I play on Sundays at a couple of the golf courses here in Dar es Salaam and want to play some other places in other areas of the country. So it's been, you know, just a wonderful experience meeting the people, knowing that the people work very, very hard and very diligently, and they literally make something out of nothing. Relative to business, it's a booming business scene here. Lots of, you know, high rises. It's a beautiful area, Dar es Salaam, because it runs along the coast of the Indian Ocean. And the waters are blue. The climate is tropical, always. Balmy. Sunup is always about 6:15 in the morning, and sundown is always about 6:15 in the evening because they're right there at the equator, sub-Sahara. So it's just a beautiful, beautiful place, and I just wish so many other people had the opportunity, would take the opportunity to come and visit. I have met so many people from the United States, specifically African Americans. This past Thursday, I went to an American Chamber event where the new ambassador from the U.S. to Tanzania was the keynote speaker. I must have met 4 or 5 African Americans from different parts of the U.S. who have now come to live here. They have businesses, they have consultancies, and they're enjoying it.
You know, with that said, Geri, you know, I read that 10 of the fastest growing economies in the world are from the continent of Africa. And you just told me that you've met several African Americans there. How are we received? How are African Americans received in the continent of Africa?
Well, here in Tanzania, I've been extremely warmly received, and everybody on the team from the U.S. We've been out working with wonderful craftspeople. You know, we're working on a commemorative presentation that we're going to bring into the U.S. for the first time in the history of the cashew nut subsector, sourcing everything relative to this presentation from Tanzania, made by, serviced by Tanzanians. And so, you know, I've been meeting with, myself and others have been meeting with just talented craftspeople, whether it be woodworking, that's a part of the presentation, a commemorative item, tailors who have to sew, service providers who have to provide us with marketing information, creative. It's just been wonderful. And everybody is so excited. They're so enthusiastic about what we're doing, especially when, you know, we tell them we only want you to do the work. We don't need anyone else. You've got the talent, and they're showing us. They're showing us what they can do.
Let me ask you.
Very little high-tech equipment.
Wow.
In fact, in some instances, none. And they're just so creative. They're so talented. They're so dedicated and positive. And, you know, we're just here, and we're creating a tremendous team of individuals who will be able to produce what we need. And from that point on, they've learned something. Some of them have never done the kind of creation of the item that we want them to produce. I just showed them a sample of something I brought from the States, something I made, and they just took off. So it's a great experience.
Let me ask you this, Geri.
About the fact that they're so happy about it.
That is fantastic. Let me ask you this. I heard one of the business people, I think Mahesh Patel, describe you, according to Godfrey Simbri, the president of WHI there in Tanzania, as tenacious. I've also heard, of course, Scott Karen say that when you met some of the women from the villages, some of the workers, that they looked at you in awe because of your position, because of your professionalism. Is there a place, how are women received, particularly, that you're viewed, admired among the women there in awe? I mean, because I know there's a lot of strong women in Africa, and I know there's a lot of business women in Africa. Are they seeing positive female African American role models, or even African women in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania?
Yeah, I believe they are, especially African, Tanzanian women, business professionals, because I've met many, okay? Now, I happen to be in Twara and Lindi, where are the largest cashew growing areas, and I was at a local processor location. The situation with cashew nut harvesting is that the farmers harvest, but then the cashew kernel has to be extracted from the nut. 90 to 95% of the workforce who do that are women. And this is very difficult work. You have to be very meticulous. You have to be efficient. Many times their pay is based upon their productivity and how many kernels they do not break, okay?
Wow.
So I think what happened during our visit is that many of the ladies, the processors, they were very joyful. They were very kind. I came in and I spoke a few things and words in Swahili, and they just really enjoyed that. They gave me this warm feeling that I was one of them. And that was very humbling to me, and it was very, very positive to me.
That is.
So
That is
It was
awesome.
just a great feeling. It was a great moment.
I bet, I bet it was.
And it was that way, and we went to two different facilities, and that was the way it was. So, yeah.
Let me ask you this in reference to you guys being on the ground, the executive team basically doing most of the work, interacting with the government, the Nut Council, and the people in the various villages, trying to get the stuff done that needs to be done before harvest season. What would you say? Let me ask you this. In Tanzania, particularly as you just described, how will WHI change the game and help those people in those villages who are getting paid pennies on the dollar and who are doing most of the work, the hardest work, and not really reaping the benefits? How will Ward Holdings International change that dynamic?
Okay. So right now, you've probably heard this before, but in Tanzania, which is probably the third largest growing cashew nut industry throughout Africa, producing cashew nut kernels, it's sold as a commodity. So the kernel is extracted from the apple, and then there's some semi-processing that goes on, and then it's sold out of the country as a raw material to Vietnam and India. So the cashew nuts that we get at the local supermarkets and convenience stores, whether they be salted, roasted, seasoned, covered with chocolate, that's not what leaves Tanzania. What leaves Tanzania is the raw material, and then it goes to Vietnam, and they do all of the enhancement of the cashew kernel, thereby receiving all of the money, the monetization that results in this when they put it into the global market. So our objective here is to create in-country processing whereby when the cashew kernel leaves the shores of Dar es Salaam or Impara, it is packaged in a Tanzanian branded package, and it goes directly to the global consumers, retail market. That's the objective. And guess what? Along that supply value-added chain will be all of the people who made this possible in Tanzania. So they will reap the monetary benefit and everything that goes along with that, raising their wages, raising their life circumstances. All that money will be here. The government will benefit.
That is fantastic.
Here in Tanzania, over 75% of the population demographically are individuals 35 years and younger. They have a high rate of unemployment. So there is tremendous opportunity to assist, and that is the word, to assist the people in this country to learn how to do it differently. We will work, as we have been doing, to develop systems and concepts to initiate the industrialization and transformation of the cashew nut subsector, and thereafter we can apply that. When I say we, the collective we, the people in Tanzania can apply these same systems to other areas of their agricultural economy.
Jerry, it sounds
So
like
that's
what you're.
what we see.
It's Jerry. It sounds like what you're saying, that once the TanzaNutz brand goes on the market globally and certainly here in America, that when people buy TanzaNutz, that brand, it's not only are they getting a top premium VIP product, but they're also going to be helping the people in Tanzania.
Absolutely. You know, Tony, as I said, I've been to processing plants. I've seen the women who work there and how diligent they are, how dedicated they are to doing quality work. Whenever I eat a delicious Tanzanian cashew kernel, I remember the farmers and especially these women processors who work to bring me the pleasure of enjoying the results of their labor.
Wow.
That's what I remember.
And that is a good.
And that's what I want everybody else to be aware of. because people just don't know. People don't know. They buy a bag of cashew nuts at Publix, at Walmart, at Kroger, or, at a CVS or Walgreens. They have no idea the process and the work, the people who made it possible.
Absolutely.
That's what I want people to know about.
That is great. In closing, what would you tell African Americans who are listening to us right now about the motherland, and what would you tell them in order to get them to go back home? Because home truly is Africa for many of us here in America.
I would say you come from tremendous, strong stock. The constitution of the people on the continent of Africa is such that they're resilient, they persevere, they never give up. There's a reason, I believe, why COVID has not ravaged the continent of Africa as it has other places. I truly believe that Native Africans, no matter the country, they've gone through epidemics and pandemics for centuries. Their will, their physical, mental, emotional constitution is hardened to the point that they are survivors.
Wow.
The other thing that happens here is that, they have a very young population. Mm-hmm. And again, when the outbreak of COVID happened in Tanzania, it was in Dar es Salaam and Zanzibar. Those are two tourist destinations. Dar es Salaam specifically has lots of international travel for business, for diplomatic reasons. Most of the embassies are here. So people came in from all over the world, and with them came the COVID that they brought. Mm. So, yeah.
Geri,
it's been a tremendously wonderful experience, and I encourage as many African Americans as are possible to come and to see it, whether it be Tanzania, whether it be Ivory Coast, or Ghana, South Africa, Mozambique, Kenya.
Come on back home.
These are great countries to see.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to seeing.
See it for yourself. See it for yourself.
See it for yourself. I'm gonna take you up on that. That's Geri Tigner, WHI Global Chief of Staff, live from Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. Geri, we appreciate you giving us a few moments of your day, and God bless you, and y'all keep up the awesome work.
Thank you so much, Tony. Again, thank you for having me.
And say something in Swahili for me before you go, sister.
Oh, okay. I will say, let's say kwaheri. That is goodbye and be well.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You're going to have to teach me some when I get there, okay?
Okay. Okay, then.
All right. You take care. God bless. All right. More Eyes Open when we come back. Of course, that's Geri Tigner, Global Chief of Staff for WHI. And we're going to have more Eyes Open when we come back, folks. Don't go away.